Senate Bill SB 1783. Short title, Small Businesses Alternate Income Tax. This bill was introduced by Senator MESNARD, and it is quite a complicated bill, but it has some provisions in it which are really necessary. The main thing to remember about this bill, Archie, is that it provides an alternative way for small businesses to be taxed. Okay? And it is a convoluted and it's difficult, and I'm not sure that I understand 100% of it. Okay?
I know I don't, but I do understand some of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but the idea is that you can be taxed, if you have a small business, you can be taxed in a separate manner than you are being taxed now. Most of these are either single proprietorships or well, some of them are corporations. But the bottom line is that if you choose to be taxed as a small business, and they have a definition of small business in here, your tax would be 4.5% of the small business taxable income. So whatever that small business taxable income is, and you derive that actually from when you do the federal tax. So anyway, it's 4.5% that you pay, and it seems like it is going to be a flat rate, no matter what. Now, normally there would not be a whole lot of opposition to this bill, okay? Mm-hmm. But it so happens that when you do this, then the surcharge that Proposition 208 is putting on personal income would not apply to this. And that's what the problem comes in. Well, the problem not for me, maybe not for you either.
Probably not, yeah.
But a problem for the proponents of Proposition 208, because as it turns out, they fully intended for that proposition to tax small businesses, even though they said, no, it doesn't tax small business, no, it doesn't, and they sold it to the public on that basis. It actually would have. Otherwise, why would they be opposed to it when this bill would not tax small businesses? So if you're a proponent of Prop 208 and you say, look, it will not tax business, and I say, okay, fine, we're going to put it in writing that we're not going to tax small businesses. And now you're going to object to that because you're going around the proposition?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make any sense. So what it is that it's further proof that they lied to us when they promoted Proposition 208. It's that simple. And it's not, let's see, it has been assigned, the last I checked, now this may have changed since this morning when I checked, okay? But the last I checked this morning was that it had been assigned to the House Ways and Means Committee. It passed the Senate, of course, and it has been assigned to the House Ways and Means Committee, but as far as I could tell, it has not been scheduled for a hearing just yet. So we'll see what happens. Mm-hmm. But if it does come up, I would recommend voting yes on it because it does provide an escape for small businesses, which, by the way, these small businesses are the ones that really have been hit by this COVID thing.
They are.
Okay, if you're at McDonald's, mm-hmm. you know, or some of these big outfits, you know, Home Depot or whatever, you know, you can absorb all this nonsense.
You can.
But if you're a small restaurant or a small machine shop, you're dead. You're dead in the water because you cannot do business properly. So this would be a long ways to reviving small businesses in the state. So I'm in favor of it, but I don't know, Archie. You never know with Archie, guys.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I tell you. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know. That's what I say.
Uh-huh,
He may not agree with me. So what's your take on it, Archie?
Well, I'm trying to figure out what a small business is.
Well, actually, the federal government defines that when you file you can file, apparently, I didn't know this, folks, but reading this bill, it appears that you can have a small business designation when you file your federal tax. And that's what they use for determining what a small business is over here.
I understand, but I mean, it's not terribly clear in this bill.
Come on,
and-
Archie. Nothing is terribly clear when it comes to these bills.
I understand that, and Jose, I don't know how many times I have told you, and I'll tell you again, that I really think we need to limit they can only introduce 3 bills, right? Then maybe they'll give some thought to how they're putting the wording together on some of these bills.
Well, look, they
But
have
the
to.
definition, as they have set forth, a small business taxpayer means any individual, all right? Well, if I'm an individual, how can I be a business, all right? Who reports on the taxpayer's federal income tax return, any income that constitutes Arizona small business gross income. So now we're right back to what is a small business, all right? So now I go to, if we look at Title 43, Section 1126, it defines what a small business corporation is, but it doesn't define what a small business individual is, all right? Now, small businesses have been defined in various aspects as any company, any business that has fewer than 500 employees, all right? Is that what's a small business here? I don't really know. Now, I understand too that a distinction is that for every other thing under the tax code in the state of Arizona, you have a scalable tax imposed upon you, all right? And that tax imposed upon you starts at 2.59% and works its way up to 4.5%. Now, under this bill, the minimum tax is 4.5%.
And the maximum, it's fixed at 4.5.
That's right, it's fixed at 4.5%. So if you would be better off as an individual filing and getting the lower tax rate, this says if you're gonna file as a small business, you're gonna pay 4.5%, period.
But keep in mind that you have the choice. This is not forced. You can file as it used to be, or you can file as the new, as under this bill. So it's optional.
Here's another question for you. You and I are operating a restaurant,
No, not me. I would never.
okay?
But let's for
You
the
can
sake of
file-
argument.
You can file as an individual.
Okay.
Can I then file as a small business under this? So I get taxed at 4.5%, you get taxed at...
I know a very good accountant.
well, I know a few good accountants too.
And that's not me. So I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Well, I really, it's unclear. It's
Yeah,
unclear.
no.
They need to clarify it.
Yeah, it would be-
And the only purpose I see for this is to get somebody to be gullible and create more revenue for the state, so that instead of paying 2.59% on tax, you're going to pay 4.5%.
Believe you me, if you have an accountant that has, it's worth anything, he would advise you as to which is the better way to go.
Oh, I'm sure of that. I'm sure of that.
And again, this would not have been a big problem if it hadn't been because the folks that sponsored 208.
I agree with that also, yeah.
Are up in arms because according to them, this is going to gut their proposition or their bill. And the only way that this could happen is if they intended for additional business taxing to take place, and they claim that they wouldn't.
We should be so lucky that 2.8 is gutted.
Well, but it's not gonna happen. There's still litigation going on there.
I know.
Anyway,
Yep.
my take on that is that I would vote yes on it.
I would too, reluctantly.